All right, we'll start off then. Hey, joining me today is Kevin Jousset, fighting out of City Kickboxing in New Zealand. He sports a record of 5-1, and he's taken on Kaleb Rideout at Eternal 67 on July 16 for the Eternal welterweight title. Mate, we're just over a week out from the fight. How are you feeling? How's the body holding up?
I'm feeling good, man. To be honest, I can't wait to fight. The camp has been long, and yeah, I'm feeling fit and ready to go.
Back to when you're competing in judo at a pretty high level in France. That was about 15 years older, I think you said, yes?
Well, I've started judo when I was a young kid. I was like 3 or 4 years old,
Yeah.
and I started competing when I was, I don't know, like 10 or something. And
Mhm.
I started to compete at a higher level from the age of 15, 16 approximately. Yeah. So I studied what they call judo school over there. So that's like normal school, but the schedule is a bit rearranged. So you can train every morning and every evening from a young age. So I studied that around like 14 or 15. And then competing internationally from the age of 15 or 16, I believe.
Wonderful. And you were training with the French national team in that time as well, yes? When you was that outside of high school or while you were still in school?
So when I was still in school and in high school, I was in national team, but a junior team, so the younger people.
Mhm.
And then when I turned 18, I moved to Paris, and I was training with a normal national team, like the Olympic team and everything.
Yeah. So we fast forward some years and now you're based in New Zealand competing in MMA. How does that sort of transition come about?
Well, judo is a big sport in MMA. Like not many people have this background, but yeah, I'm definitely one of them. That's a very good grappling game to be utilized in MMA. So yeah, like obviously every time we get to the clinch or we get like close to each other, I can have some quite nice takedowns. I feel very comfortable in those positions.
Mhm.
And also on the ground game, many people think that judo is only standing, but the ground game is a big part of it. So that's a lot of jiu-jitsu as well. Like some of the submissions we don't do,
Mhm.
but we do most of it. So yeah, that's a big part of the sport.
How did you fall into MMA though?
A friend of mine told me about it. So what happened is when I stopped judo, I decided to stop competing because I got surgery from injuries in judo, and I was still young. I was like 21, 22, and I kind of got over it in a sense. And I've done it all my life, and I was not enjoying training anymore. So I kind of thought that maybe I should stop and do something else. And at this time, I met one of my best friends still, and this guy was the strength and conditioning coach in a big MMA gym in France, in Paris. And he told me, yeah, man, like you should start MMA, blah blah. Like he told me about it, but back then I had no clue what this sport was because MMA was still illegal in France. Like you could train apparently, but you couldn't compete. So I was like, what the hell is this sport? And obviously the UFC and everything, like none of that was on the TV in France. Like that up to last year, like nobody really knew what it was. But yeah, so that was like 2015, I believe, or 2016, not 2015, I think. And yeah, he told me you should do it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not sure. Like for me, that was hard to put in my mind that I was gonna do a new sport, starting as a very basic level again, and like especially coming from a sport when I was competing at quite high level, I was like, I don't want to do a sport just to do a sport and just train twice a week. Like if I do a sport, just to do it at the highest level. And I told me like, yeah, like you'd be surprised. Judo is a good sport. Like there's quite a few guys coming from judo and doing well. You
Mhm.
should check it out. So then I just looked into it, and eventually I studied and understood very fast, and I could do well. So I just started to do it full time on the way.
Do you think we're going to see a bit of an influx of French judokas sort of transitioning over to MMA now that it's become legal over there? Is it better money and opportunities in MMA?
Oh yeah, 100%. Money in judo is shit. Like yeah, like you can't make any money in judo. Literally, like you can be in the top people in the country and you're not making anything. Like yeah, you need to work full time and everything. So money wise, 100%. And yeah, I just think that's more exciting. Like judo was, in my opinion, getting boring also because all the rules were changing. Like from the time I studied like 20 plus years ago, and now like the sport doesn't even look the same anymore. Like so many rules have changed the game and everything. So in MMA, there's so much freedom about the techniques you can use and everything. So yeah, I believe that we see more and more people coming from a judo background for sure. And yeah, like so many guys are very strong physically coming from this sport. Judo, sambo, like that's quite similar. And we'll definitely see more of those guys within the next few years.
As a base for MMA, I mean, wrestling's always touted as a pretty good base for MMA. Judo, it looks similar in a lot of ways. It looks like it's a pretty good base to start off with for mixed martial arts.
100%. And yeah, wrestling is definitely a great base too, but judo is good. The thing is, not many people know about it
Mm.
because there's not many guys at the highest level who comes from a judo background, so people just forget about it. But a few years ago, nobody knew about sambo either until Khabib arrived and just mauled everybody.
And look at
And
it now.
now people understand. And yeah, Zan sambo is a very very good background for the sport too. And I tell you, man, like judo is a very good background for MMA. Without a doubt, like I know it, I use it every day. I've used it against so many high level guys, and it works. It works really well.
You make that the hip toss look absolutely effortless. It's a thing of wonder watching that. All right,
Yeah.
we'll fast forward a little bit now. You've been at CKB for about 2 years with Eugene and Izzy and the boys there.
Yeah, a bit more.
A little bit more.
I've been there the very first time, early 2019, but I went there in 2019 a few times. That was just for training camps, a couple of times every time. And I moved full time there January 2020. So yeah, it's been a little while now.
How did you get involved with them to begin with?
I was training in Melbourne, Australia, for
Mhm.
for a few years, and when I was training in Australia, I was training in a gym full of good grapplers, and I got to meet some people who told me about this gym in New Zealand with very high level strikers, and coming from a grappling background, and I wanted to compete, obviously, and become as good as possible. So I knew that striking was my weakness back then. So I do believe that to become good in whatever area of the sport, you need to be able to train with the best people in this area.
Mhm.
So I was like, yeah, well, cool. I'm gonna go to go to this gym for a little while, get to work on my striking, and at least I'll get better. And I went there, trained with the team, got to meet the trainers, the training partners, and everyone. Like I felt very welcome and. Love the team, love the way they train and everything. So I ended up going back to Melbourne at first, and after the first trip in Auckland, I just when I came back to Melbourne, I just planned everything to be able to move full time because I knew that was a place to be.
What does that do for you mentally, being in the room with someone like Izzy, who obviously just defended his title, and Kai, who's about to challenge for a title? I mean, that's got to give you a bit of confidence going forward.
Yeah, 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 for sure. That's good to be able to train with the best guys in the world. Um, like yeah, like obviously that's the goal, right? Like being the best myself. So being able to train with those guys just makes me realize if I'm ready or if I'm not ready to compete at the highest level. So yeah, that's a great opportunity for sure.
And you recently spent some time in Syndicate at Las Vegas. Who did you get a chance to train with over there?
Oh, heaps of guys, like these heaps of UFC Bellator guys. I was training at Syndicate, yeah, but also training at UFC PI most days at the same time. So yeah, like many guys. But yeah, that was good to train in America. Um, it also made me realize on training in city kickboxing is actually better than in America. Okay, training is good in America, don't get me wrong, but we have everything here in New Zealand. Guys are better, in my opinion. Like we have so many fighters, and you guys have no clue about who they are. You don't know their names, but I can tell you right now, and so many guys we have in city kickboxing. You put them in the UFC roster, and they would be 50% of the roster right now, without a doubt. And I know it because I've trained with those guys. So yeah.
What do you think? What are they doing there at City Kickboxing that's different that helps them produce so much talent?
Well, obviously, the coaches have the skills. Yes, they have also the skills to teach. But I think the main thing is more the facts and it's a bit of a big family, like everyone respects each other, everyone is equal. There is no like difference in between, let's say, like Israel, who is world champion, compared to another dude who's just gonna come to the gym for the first time. Everyone gonna have the same respect. Everyone gonna be respectful to each other and trying to help each other. That's yeah, so it's like a big family, and yeah.
What we'll move forward a bit. I want to get onto your fight career itself. You turned pro in 2019 after two amateur fights, and that was a busy first year. You had four scraps that year. Started on a two-fight tear and ran into Jack Della and lost via the doctor stoppage. A short notice fight. If you had a full camp for that fight, do you think things would have gone differently?
Possibly, but in life, many things can go differently if you change a few stuff. So we never know, and I don't really mind. It happened what happened. I lost this fight, and it is what it is. But yes, that just made me who I am now. Like, yeah, I lost against him, but that's not the end of the world. Like, it doesn't really matter. Surely I'll get to fight him later on in my career again, and I know 100% that won't be the same result. The same result. So.
Yeah, I was going to say that must be one now that he's gone on to the UFC. It must be one you kind of want to get back.
Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, like he seems to be a nice dude. I don't really know him. I have nothing against the guy. Like, good for him. He's winning, and I guess that's great for MMA in Australia and New Zealand. So good for him. But yeah, for sure, I'm a competitor. So like, someone beats me, I want him back 100%. So yeah, I definitely believe in fighting him again would be a great opportunity. And I know that I'm not the same guy as when we fought 3 years ago. And same for him. He has improved a lot, but my improvements is no way close to how much he improved. I'm way better now.
So you had one more fight after that in 2019 against Matt Myers, and that got you back in the win column. But then the pace slowed right down after that. Obviously, the pandemic caused a heap of issues in New Zealand. Frustrating time for yourself, sitting back and not getting many fights in.
Oh yeah, man. Like if you get to know me, I'm the kind of guy. I wish I could fight way more often, but obviously this COVID and everything slowed everything down. But I guess I got lucky and being in New Zealand, I could train most of the time. We had a few lockdowns and everything, but we've been quite lucky compared to other countries.
Hmm.
So I made the most of it. I got much better, got to train and everything. And then when everything started to open again, I managed to get couple of fights back in. So yeah.
And so after that, what you three in a row now. Most recent win was a 3-round decision against Saeed Fatahifa. I hope I'm saying that right. I hope I just didn't butcher that man's name. That was in 2021. You nearly had him out of there in the first. Were you surprised you couldn't get the job done?
I knew it was tough. So what happened is before this fight, I fought like 6 weeks ago, 6 weeks prior, sorry, in Auckland. One first round against another dude here, and I wanted to stay active because my body was still fresh, and I wanted to fight again. And when they offer me, so I asked a guy from Eternal, and they offer me these guys, and not many guys wanted to fight. So I say, "Yep, I'm in." And one of the main reasons was I knew the guy is tough. I knew it would be a challenge. He's probably one of the best training in Australia. I knew it would be hard to knock out or anything, but the fight was good. I was very happy to be able to fight the 15 minutes and being able to get a bit more time in the cage and show a bit more of my skills as well. So yeah, no, it was good. I'm glad the fight went all the way and everything. Good experience.
Any lessons learned in that fight in those 15 minutes? Anything you took away?
Anything I took away from that fight? Nah,
It's got it's
I knew I'm better than those guys. I knew that I can have a tough guy in front of me. I'll still be tougher than him anyway, so he can be tough. So it's just good for me. That just makes me like be able to show some of my toughness and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say I took anything away from this fight because I already knew it, you know.
And onto this fight now, this upcoming one with Kaleb. It's first main event, first title fight, I believe.
I've had a main event in New Zealand and
Oh, you have, okay.
some common events in Australia, but first main event in Australia.
Any added pressure?
No. A fight is a fight. Like main event, co-main event, first fight of the night. At the end of the day, there's two people fighting each other. I'm pretty good at not thinking too much about all the bullshit going on, like outside the cage, because at the end of the day, doesn't matter what fight, like who is watching, how many people are watching, what show it is, main event or first fight, like doesn't matter. You have a job to done. You have someone who wanna take your head off, and so I wanna do the same too. So no, I don't really care. Like that's good extra. I'm happy about it, but that's not gonna change anything on the pressure.
And onto Kaleb himself, he's had some pretty glorious KOs over the past year or so. What's your opinion on him, and what are you expecting out of him on July 16?
Yeah, good fighter. He has some nice knockouts, as you said. I've seen his fights once, and yeah, he's pretty dangerous. He does a lot of spinning techniques, so yeah, I need to be aware of it. And yeah, I think he's a tough opponent as well. So let's see what he does. I'm not too sure about his game plan or anything, and I don't really think about it too much. I know what I need to do myself, and yeah, I'm planning to use my weapons and my skills as well as possible in this fight, and hopefully getting the win.
Are you happy with the win, or do you feel like you want to finish from this fight?
Obviously, the win is the main goal. On one side, I'd love to go 25 minutes because it gets to just give me some time in there, and I can just outclass him for 25 minutes. For me, that's meaningful. But at the same time, always good to have an early finish, no injuries, and being able to get back in there as soon as possible. You know. But whenever I'm not gonna rush the finish or anything. But most of my fights have been finished pretty early. Most people can't handle when I get to hit them. So let's see. But doesn't matter. I'm fit, man. I'm fit. So it could be a no time limit fight. I'm happy with it too. Doesn't matter.
Assuming you do win the belt at Eternal 67, do you feel you said like I feel silly even asking this question at the moment because the confidence is just exuding off of you, but do you feel like you're ready for the big leagues? You feel like you're ready to step up for Contender Series or UFC or whatever they have?
Yeah, first off, that's not assuming that I will get the belt, and 100%. Yeah, I know I'm ready. Like I've been training with some of the best guys in the world, literally UFC champions, and many other people, and I know I'm ready 100%. So yeah, but at the same time, I don't wanna look too much ahead. Like I need to make sure I do my job on July 16th. Only thing in my mind at the moment. And once I do, then I'll definitely have have my eyes on the UFC. That's for sure, 100%.
I know Jack Della had to have a couple title defenses before he got the call up, but what are the chances of you making a push to get, presuming you win, making a push to get on the UFC card in Paris with a big statement win?
So that's a goal. That's a goal. That's a goal. So yeah, let's see what happens. As I just said, I need to make sure July 16th happen as well as I plan. I've been training great. I'm feeling awesome. I can't wait to put on a show. And yeah, most of my fights are good to watch. Like literally, like are quite impressive to watch. I get the UFC guys like this kind of performances, and if I can do one more on July 16th. Hopefully, they get to see it and they know I'm the guy, and they get me on the show for the first ever UFC event in Paris on September 3rd. That's only 7 weeks after this fight coming up on July 16th. 7 weeks is more than enough for me to get back to another training camp and fight again. So yeah, hopefully that happens.
Love to hear it, mate. That'd just be absolutely fantastic. That's about it from me. Just before I let you go, I'd love to get your opinion on Alex and Izzy's performances last weekend. What did you make of those two lads?
Awesome, just perfect. Like yeah, like those performances were insane. Those guys, you just look at their face when they do the post-fight interviews, and they look like they did not even fight because those guys' defenses are just so good. They just don't get touched. And yeah, some of the fans are booing and whatever, but those fans booing don't know shit about the sport anyway, so it doesn't matter. Izzy and Alex, both of them are definitely some of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. And I loved watching it. I watched it again a couple of days ago. Yeah, impressive. A lot to learn from those fights. I will definitely rewatch it again a couple of times for sure.
Beautiful performances from them both. Yeah, Eugene come out the other day on Submission Radio and said the aim is to hit and to not get hit. Is that pretty much the gist of it for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, like that's perfect because at the end of the day, like you don't want to take too much damage and then you end up fighting once a year. You know what I mean? Like some guys, yeah, that's cool. The fight looks nice, and yeah, we all want that once in a while, but you also want to stay healthy, being able to fight often enough, and going back home safely, and being able to enjoy your life and everything. So yeah, for sure, that's definitely the goal.
Enjoy the spoils of victory, mate. All right, well, that's about it from me today. Once again, that is Kevin Jousset fighting out of City Kickboxing in New Zealand by way of France. He's taken on Kaleb Rideout at Eternal 67 on July 16th for the welterweight title. You can catch that on Fight Pass. Thank you very much for your time, Kevin. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, mate.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll talk soon. Thank you.